Today is Tuesday, April 29th. We're talking about President Trump's focus 100 days into his second term and how Canadians voted in an election largely influenced by the American leader. Also, what issue brought Democrats and Republicans together to pass a new law despite some outside opposition? Plus, where the next big swarm of cicadas is popping up, how shopping is coming to ChatGPT, and why some movie showings are expected to get extra rowdy. Those stories and even more news coming up. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Today, President Trump will be marking 100 days since he came back into power. And now the country is reflecting on everything that's happened in that time, for better or for worse. The president has moved quickly to deliver on quite a few campaign promises on immigration, trade, and culture war issues, largely through executive action. But Trump hasn't made good on all of his campaign promises yet. For example, the war in Ukraine is still raging, despite Trump saying he'd end it even before taking office. Also, many economists have warned his tariff policies threaten his promise to lower prices. And many of his moves are facing contentious legal challenges, with critics saying Trump is overstepping his powers. Still, President Trump is framing his first 100 days as a success, delivering for the people who elected him. And he's celebrating today with a rally in Michigan. By the way, if you want to hear more about the president's record so far, check out our last special edition Saturday episode. You'll hear political analysis from both sides of the aisle. President Trump signed 3 more executive orders concerning immigration and policing. One tells top officials to publish a list of so-called sanctuary cities, basically all the cities or counties that don't fully cooperate with Trump's crackdown. Already, Trump called for their federal funding to be cut. A second order tells the federal government to help police officers accused of wrongdoing by giving them legal resources. It also provides military equipment to officers and more. And that one also calls for a review of any rules that might be getting in officers' way. And a third order says commercial truck drivers need to be proficient in English. Also, in an effort to highlight President Trump's border crackdown, a series of yard signs were posted across the White House lawn, showcasing immigrants who were arrested and accused of serious crimes. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, also highlighted how the Trump White House has deported 139,000 people so far. That figure does lag behind the pace of the Biden administration, but Homan says that's not a fair comparison since border crossings are down significantly, so there are fewer people to turn back. Either way, he says the crackdown is only getting started. Canada's Liberal Party is on course to win another election, forming a 4th government in a row. And that means former central banker and current Prime Minister Mark Carney is set to keep leading. The votes are still being counted, but Canadian news outlets CTV and CBC are both projecting the results. It's seen as an incredible turnaround for Canada's Liberal Party, made possible by U.S. President Trump. As the AP explains it, the Liberals looked headed for a defeat a few months ago, before Trump threatened tariffs and suggested annexing Canada. Since then, Prime Minister Carney's central campaign promise has been to make Canada less reliant on the U.S. and to stand up for Canadians in the face of threats. And it seems to have made a difference. Carney says he's still open to continued talks with Trump, but is also looking to deepen ties with allies he considers to be more reliable. So far, Trump has not commented on Carney's win, but yesterday he did tell Canadians to just vote for him and again said Canada should become part of America's 51st state. An unprecedented blackout spanned much of Spain and Portugal yesterday. Millions of people lost power, as well as phone and internet coverage, and thousands of train passengers were left stranded. Thankfully, things seem to be getting back on track now. Overnight, about 90% of power had been restored to Spain's national grid, and lights came back on in the Portuguese capital of Lisbon, with Portugal's leaders promising more progress soon. This was actually the second serious European power outage in less than 6 weeks, after the one we told you about that shut down Heathrow Airport in the UK. And authorities have brought up worries about possible sabotage. But for now, Portugal's leaders say there's no signs this was a cyber attack, and Spain's leaders say they won't speculate. The cause is still being investigated. As we published early this morning, severe storms are still lingering over the upper Midwest. Already, at least one confirmed tornado has touched down in southern Minnesota, and hail the size of baseballs has been reported in parts of the state and elsewhere in the central U.S. Today, the weather threat extends from Texas to the Great Lakes, with more large hail, strong winds, heavy rain possible, as well as isolated tornadoes. The greatest threat extends from central Ohio into western Pennsylvania and New York. Then tomorrow, more rounds of storms are possible across the southern plains from Texas to Missouri. Stay tuned. All right, we have more news for you just ahead, but first, this episode is sponsored by Skims. What are your wardrobe essentials, the things you must have in your closet? Mine include both short and long sleeve tees, and Skims always has my favorites. I most recently got the Skims cotton jersey long sleeve t-shirt, and I love it. It's super soft and comfortable. Plus, other long sleeves tend to ride up or bunch at the waist, but this one stays put. And true to everything I've gotten from Skims so far, it really is so flattering on. They just know how to ensure the fabric and the fit are just right every time. In fact, this latest long sleeve tee has only added to my growing Skims collection. I'm still wearing all my other Skims tees, dresses, tanks, pants, the list goes on. Shop Skims tees as well as their ultimate bra collection and more at skims.com and Skims LA flagship on Sunset Boulevard. After you place your order online, be sure to let them know we sent you, select podcast in the survey, and be sure to select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. Okay, now back to the news. Some Americans are starting to hear the sounds of noisy insects again. They're part of a cicada brood that was first identified by pilgrims in 1634. And for the first time in 17 years, they've been spotted in parts of Tennessee and North Carolina. As temperatures rise, the swarm is expected to expand, showing up across 13 East Coast states from Georgia to New York. But they won't be around too long. Remember, periodical cicadas come in cycles. They live underground for most of their lives, only coming out for a couple of months to reproduce. After females lay their eggs, all the adult cicadas die off, and their offspring burrow back underground to start the process all over again. Cicadas are mostly harmless, but loud buzzing made by the males calling out for their mates can be disruptive. And the eggs on twigs and shoots can cause damage in newly planted trees. But otherwise, they don't hurt people or animals. One issue has garnered something rare in Washington, a bill that passed Congress with overwhelming bipartisan support. The Take It Down Act makes it a federal crime to post sexual images of someone without their consent, and it applies whether the images are real or deepfakes made by artificial intelligence. The bill says social media companies and other websites will have to remove images and videos within 48 hours of victims asking that they be taken down. Meta, TikTok, and Snapchat have all come out in support of it. But some digital rights groups are against it since they say the bill does not protect against requests made in bad faith, and they worry it could trigger widespread unnecessary censorship online. Either way, both chambers of Congress have now passed the bill, and President Trump says he plans to sign it into law. Another big tech company announced a big investment in American manufacturing. IBM says it's investing $150 billion in the U.S. over the next 5 years, and a good chunk of it will be used to help make quantum computers and mainframes. This comes after NVIDIA said earlier this month it would invest $500 billion to produce all of its AI supercomputers in the U.S. Other big investment announcements have come from Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, Apple, and more. Several analysts see these commitments as gestures to President Trump in the face of trade policies that could raise costs. But for now, chips, smartphones, computers, and other tech devices and components are actually exempted from tariffs. If you're overwhelmed by online shopping, artificial intelligence is here to help. OpenAI says it's updated ChatGPT's web search capabilities to give shoppers personalized product recommendations with images, reviews, and direct purchase links. There won't be ads, and OpenAI won't receive commission from products made through ChatGPT. And the update will be available to everyone, not just paid ChatGPT customers. The move is seen as a direct challenge to Google's dominance in search and Amazon's dominance in shopping. Amazon actually unveiled its own generative AI shopping assistant last year. The AI firm Perplexity also has a shopping tool. ChatGPT's update is rolling out over the next few days. Netflix has rolled out a new kind of subtitle that's specifically geared toward people who are not hearing impaired. It drops the speaker names and sound cues or descriptions of things like door slamming, so you only see dialogue. The feature is coming out in Netflix's new original programming, starting with the new season of the series You. Eventually, the streaming giant says it's looking to add the option to older titles in its library too, even those it did not produce. Traditional closed captioning will still be available as an option, but this extra option is apparently needed now because so many people have expressed the need. A recent poll found about a third of Americans prefer subtitles when watching TV, even in a language they know. Theaters have been dealing with a recurring problem at showings of a Minecraft movie. A lot of audiences just can't seem to keep themselves from singing loudly, shouting out lines, and acting otherwise disruptive. Well, now the studio behind the movie is leaning into this trend and offering special screenings where fans can go ahead and be rowdy to an extent. A Minecraft movie Block Party Edition will start coming out later this week. At the block party showings, fans will actually be encouraged to sing and meme along, or as Warner Brothers put it, let loose. It's also expected to bring another surge to a Minecraft movie that's the biggest Hollywood movie of the year so far. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. But first, thanks to our sponsor, Hiya Health. One easy way that I've found to make sure my kiddo is getting the nutrition he needs is with Hiya's children's vitamins. In fact, even before they became a sponsor, I was giving my son their best-selling children's vitamins and the Hiya probiotics already. Why? Well, most children's vitamins seem basically like candy in disguise, but not Hiya. Hiya has 0 sugar and 0 gummy junk. They're instead pediatrician-approved chewables that my son seriously looks forward to having every morning. Plus, I appreciate that every single batch is third-party tested for heavy metals and microbials in a qualified GMP-compliant lab using scientifically validated testing methods. Oh, and if you're tired of battling with your kids to eat their greens, Hiya now has Kids Daily Greens Plus Superfoods. It's a chocolate-flavored greens powder designed specifically for kids, packed with more than 55 whole food ingredients to support brain power, development, and digestion. Just scoop, shake, and sip with milk or any non-dairy beverage for a delicious and nutritious boost your kids will actually enjoy. We've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. Yeah, half off. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/newsworthy. This deal is not available on their regular website, so go to hiyahealth.com/newsworthy, hiyahealth.com/newsworthy, and get your kids the full-body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Okay, now back to Trivia Tuesday. Today's trivia question is, which Scottish actor played James Bond for much of the 1960s? Listen again next Tuesday for the answer and explanation. As for last week's trivia question, how fast was the fastest wind ever recorded outside of a tornado? The answer is 253 miles per hour. It happened on Barrow Island, Australia back in 1996 in the midst of tropical cyclone Olivia. Winds caused significant damage, mainly to oil and gas facilities, but thankfully no one was seriously hurt. It's believed wind speeds in tornadoes could be even faster, though, like up to 300 miles an hour. But those readings are estimates not taken with a wind meter like the one on Barrow Island. That also does not include artificial wind, like a wind tunnel NASA uses to simulate flight conditions and do other research. It can actually top 2,600 miles per hour, more than 3 times the speed of sound. Well, thank you so much for joining us to get caught up on the news today. You can further support our work here and get access to ad-free episodes by becoming a Newsworthy Insider. Start your free trial at thenewsworthy.com/insider, and Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to episodes of The Newsworthy ad-free in the Wondery app. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest news to know. Until then, have a great day.